Hey everyone, Brian here for Ginger Prime, and I want to dive right into this video. I'm actually pretty excited. I've been playing on the public test realm for New World as they've rolled out their February update. Welcome to everybody who's new, a double welcome and salutations to everybody who's already subscribed. Let's get into it. I want to TLDR this just in case you want the nitty gritty or you want to dunk on New World. Plenty of things to do obviously in the comments, but the real key takeaway is combat feels so much better. Now, is it perfect? No, I think there's definitely going to be more work that the team can do, but what did they change? Well, from the notes, from what we've seen in the PTR and what they're highlighting, especially with this version, we've got more to come. We still don't have a release date on when this actually goes into the live servers, but weapons can now be swapped during reactions, dodges, traversal while using your consumables, with one exception being that of the weapon coatings, but let's not fault them completely for that. All in all, like, it does actually feel way smoother. In fact, weapons can also be queued to swap. So as you're doing the actions, you press your swap button. You can actually also then press an action button and it can actually queue up that action. So as things kind of, like, I guess, go their natural course, they're not going to be breaking your animations. It honestly still looks really good. But what I really enjoy about this as a player, in the combat in and of itself, swapping and queuing the action and having my character go ahead and creating and doing that action as it plays out. Combat feels way more smoother. In fact, that's actually what I'm really excited about, and when this actually does roll into the live server, because I just think it feels better. I've tested this with a couple of different weapons, and at the end of the day, like, yeah, I really feel the difference in how it works in the live version versus how it works in the PTR version, and I'm very excited to see that. So one of the things they actually did when it's actually kind of nice is they have a 1 second cooldown time between swapping weapons to prevent from instant swapping back and forth. So I pulled out my sword, I pulled out my hatchet. I think I've even done that on the live version a few times, and it's frustrating, especially if you're rocking a life staff and hatchet or life staff and sword build. Like, there's a lot of different obviously builds in this game, but when it comes down to it, when I swap a weapon but I got too impatient and it ended up doing it twice because I was getting hit, that seems to have been solved so far in the PTR. Obviously more testing will have to be put to the test, but at its core, I'm very excited just to report those facts to you. Now, regarding dodging and blocking, they've got a few things they've changed here. They've shortened the length of recovery for all of their dodges. Dodging can actually now be entered into navigation, and it actually will feel way more fluid. That's the note that they said. And overall, like, obviously dodging in heavy armor, you can see me doing that here right here now. Like, yeah, it feels like it looks a little bit better. It feels like it works a little bit better. It feels like it recovers a little bit better. Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm actually quite pleased with just the combat changes themselves. Now, let me dive more into the notes itself. This is kind of like a visual walk through the PTR notes themselves. Basic attack startups for both melee and range can actually now be dodged and block canceled up to 2 frames before the first active frame. This is typically the first animation frame where the damage hitscape activates for the projectile hit scan and object spawns. Now they say jumping, launching off of lower height objects will no longer trigger a fully committed landing reaction animation, allowing you to keep your momentum as you move through a turnum. And you can see I'm just kind of running right here, and you can see that actually put into practice. It's not that, like, it's a very kind of subtle thing, but it still feels pretty good at the end of the day. Nice little jump, nice little animation, and yeah, so I think all in all, like, we're looking at doing some good things here in terms of animation, jumping, and falling in that regards. Now, regarding balance changes, they state a cleanup pass has been performed across all weapon types, helping a number of abilities perks feel more predictable and potent on the battlefield. And they highlight the Great Axe. So we just go ahead and pull up the Great Axe here for a second. Weapon mastery and Great Axe. They say significant work has been done to Gravity Well, and pull up Gravity Well, an upward swing dealing 99% weapon damage and projecting a powerful tear in reality that creates a vortex up to 10 meters away. The vortex pulls foes within 4 meters to its center. Foes within the vortex cannot dodge, and their movement speed is reduced by 55% due to the intense gravity. The collapsing vortex ends after 3 seconds, with the damaging burst dealing 125% weapon damage, enhancing that increased damage burst by 10% for each foe caught in the vortex. And finally, unyielding, allies gain 10% fortify while standing in your well. Fortify reduces their incoming damage. So if I go ahead and just, like, enhance the Great Axe here for us, let's go ahead and actually play around with it and see what we think. All right, let's try this thing out. All right, there we go. Absorbed a little bit extra damage, and yeah, okay, so a nice little update there for Gravity Well. The next update is for the stopping power, sticky bomb, and shooter stance of the musket. So let's go ahead and pull up our musket here and take a look. For shooter stance, players enter a crouching aim stance to enhance shooting performance. While this is in stance, shot deal 100% weapon damage, mobility is reduced to 0, and reload time is reduced by 75%. Shooter stance enters after 3 shots. You can have shot more, which takes it up to 5 shots. And then finally, marksman, if 3 consecutive shots hit the same target, reduce all other musket cooldowns by 25%. Let's go take a look at stopping power, a powerful shot that deals 120% weapon damage, staggering the target and knocking them back 3 meters. It can be fired from the hip or while aiming down sights. We can enhance this with targets hit with stopping power are exhausted, reducing their stamina regeneration speed by 10% for 8 seconds. And finally, targets hit by stopping power are also slowed by 10% for 8 seconds, and slow actually reduces their movement speed. Sticky bomb has throw a short range bomb that sticks to anything and makes contact with it. The detonation will occur 3 seconds after impact, dealing 210% weapon damage to all targets within 3 meters. Sticky bomb grants a player 40 stamina when it deals damage with an explosion. And finally, direct hits with sticky bomb cause the target to be slowed for 15% for 3 seconds, thus reducing their movement speed. So going further into the details, player versus environment, AI improvements, they're introducing a new player versus AI physics collider solution that's going to significantly reduce the amount of pushback from bipedal and simple shaped creatures colliding with player characters. Quadruped and along creatures will receive similar updates in the future. Improved AI targeting for fixed instances where AI sometimes attacks locations where the player used to be instead of where they actually moved to, and they reduce the pushback of block on most creature attacks. So for Outpost Rush, things you can look forward to. Multiple AI and visual bugs have been addressed. AI and siege weapons have received a balance pass. Scoring mechanism for contribution has been reworked. Dealing damage now increases players' scores. I think that's a really good choice. Reduce the amount of points granted from killing enemy players. Reduce the amount of points granted from killing enemy AI. They've adjusted the game mode participation rewards, so faction tokens are now granted on match completion. Outpost Rush caches now reward 2 pieces of Outpost Rush specific armor and an Outpost Rush specific weapon. In addition, there's also an added 15% chance of receiving a 4th item, which may be a piece of Outpost Rush specific jewelry. Significant increases in the likelihood of Outpost Rush cache rewards will increase players' expertise ratings. The Outpost Rush gear now rolls from a fixed list of perks that are more ideal for PvP combat. This means that traits like Beast Ward will no longer be found in Outpost Rush gear. They've removed Beast Ward from Illusionary Enigma and replaced it with Keen. Players, please take note, this change isn't retroactive and will only apply to new Illusionary Enigmas granted after the patch. Regarding crafting, they've reduced the trade skill experience leveling requirements by 10% for Arcana, Armoring, Engineering, Furnishing, Jewel Crafting, and Weaponsmithing, and they've added a new trade chat channel that's actually been added, and it's going to be detailed place for players to play or sell. Play, sell, that's the same thing. Anyway, so as far as it goes, those are the core changes that are currently live on the PTR. My hands-on experience so far with it is just very positive. Obviously, I'm going to go back to my main character and continue my progress there. But if you guys have any questions or want me to test out anything with you guys on the PTR, just hit me up in the comments, hit me up on Discord. We can team up and we can check it out together. Guys, thanks so much for your time. If you enjoyed this video, if you got something useful out of it, either sound off in the comments below, leave a like, or maybe come back and check out another video in the future. I'll leave the choice up to you, and hopefully you have a great and wonderful day, weekend, month, year, who knows when I'll see you again. But until then, take care.
A little off topic, but I just want to say thank you for providing me a friendly, fun, and optimistic community. Baby, coming from an MMO community filled with toxicity, this is an amazing breath of fresh air. Keep it up, baby. Oh, yeah.